So what's
outside of
up? What's new, TyBob?
superheroes. Dude, I'm so fucking busy.
I'm actually slowing down quite a bit. I'm enjoying it.
Oh,
I'm
I
seeing
am.
less clients and I'm working on a training manual, but
Nice. Good. I am. Started my new job last Monday. So just a lot of training, learning.
which
Uh,
is
it's a marketing gig, so they actually hired me for a senior position.
nice.
So I'm working with paid media. So we take on the sales team works on the sales, and then we implement whatever they agreed upon in the sales. What paid media entails basically, the number one thing is Google search sponsorships or Google search
Sure.
ads. So that's the big Google AdWords is what they call it. So we work on those, and then if they want to implement any sort of social media ads, then we jump in on that. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We do this app called Nextdoor that I just learned about, mainly with like pest control services. This Nextdoor social media app is just for like neighborhoods,
Hmm.
and so they do ads on there. Our company's done stuff with live TV, Hulu, and other streaming platforms, stuff like that. So I mainly just work on implementing or take the budget, implement Google, and then that's what I'm working on now.
So you're buying the ads. You're the guy that's purchasing the ads, basically.
Um,
Or
so it's not so much purchasing ads as much as just for the like the simplicity of it. They give me a budget and then I create keywords in there's a few things that go along with it. Like our so we've got a web team that will develop their website to get it properly set up with Google. And then we will take those along with keywords and search terms and create phrases, exact matches, and broad matches on. So, like if you Google storage near me,
no,
whoever is, we will geolocate it based on keywords, tags, terms, and location. And then whoever our partner is, and so on and so those sorts of
whatever
things.
the
And so
people are
when you
searching
do
for storage related shit, you're gonna plug in those
exactly,
words.
exactly. And then so and it's based on so what's our budget and how we compare against some of those who don't use us. For example, um public storage, I think is the big name, one of the big brands. They run their
Hmm.
own stuff, got multi-million dollars that they plug into Google, whereas our clients are a little bit smaller because they don't do their own in-house operations in terms of marketing. And so we've got to compete against certain ads. Certain words can cost certain amounts of money and on certain given days and things like that. So it's a lot of like analytical research to figure out where are we losing money, what words do I need to make negative so our ads don't pop up, or geolocation so our ads don't pop up, things like that. So a lot of that to start off with, and I'll get into
Every
more social media later. But
every uh every time you've told me what you do for a living, it just goes one in one ear and
yeah,
right out
oh
the
yeah,
other because
oh yeah.
I
It's
never
always so
really.
difficult. Well, it's always so difficult when I it's like, I go from basically customer service to I just work with like Google and social media platforms now, just running ads. But it's not as simple as like, oh, you go and
Is that something
you
where
can
you're like,
buy an
are
ad.
there times like where you're just waiting around for shit? Like, do you have
No.
downtime or
I
just like
mean,
it's like a constant like the volume that they have is just
at this point in time, yes, just simply because I've just started, I'm learning exactly how this place does things and learning how
sure.
Google Ads works, things like that. But like once I get rooted in, like no, it's gonna be I'm gonna be tasked with probably 4 or 5 different clients. And then I'm gonna have to do the analytical research for each one of them, implementing negative searches, positive searches, working with a content team, a web development team, um, tracking phone calls, and like right now, this whole week I've been
Working with, are you like in charge of that? like those other teams.
with.
Okay.
So those would be totally different. So like we collectively, me on paid media, I would work with content, I would work with web development and SEO, which is the search engine operations team. Like I'd be working with all of them. Um, we nobody would be from those departments would be over me, and I wouldn't be over those people. We'd just be working together to make sure like, hey, this person is paying for paid media, they're also paying for web development, and they're paying for search engine optimization, but they're not going to pay for content, right? So the content team is now
Hmm.
no longer involved with this client
Sure. Yeah.
unless they decide that they want to in the future and put forth more money to do so. And then we've got some clients that just strictly work with like paid media. But paid media is like your base level with our company. Like that's where you start and then you can build on top of that.
I'm assuming to get said job, you had to have you. So it's like a degree in the specific field. Like they're not just taking anybody unless they've got like body of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've got to have for ground entry level, which I'm above that in a senior position, you would have to have at least a marketing degree of some sort. I have two. Yeah, you would like to get there, you'd have to have a base of like, I went to college, I got a degree in marketing, and you've probably had at least one internship doing something marketing. Now they teach you basically from ground up because the last time I worked with Google AdWords was literally it had been in operation for a little over a year. And that was 2015, and they came out at like the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. But I also know how to, like, one of the reasons why they put me in the position that I'm in a senior position is I've done a lot, like we're going to be doing a lot of partner to partner and client speaking, so I'm very good with my words. I've worked on sponsorships, I've done sales, I've done things like that. So
Hmm.
um, they can teach me how exactly they want me to run data analysis, but they can't, like, it's very hard to teach somebody how to speak to a client. Um,
Just the
and
interaction part
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that that's lost on some people,
So like what
and
they
some
do
people
in the
just don't like
right.
it.
Yeah. So like what they do in the position below me is basically learn the like the account side, learning how to do the data analysis and all of that stuff. And where I'm at is where they would be teaching people how to speak to the clients. So where I'm actually reverse is I already know how to speak to the client. So in my position, they're teaching me how to do the data analysis and build things out on that end. That way, the next step up for me, which is hopefully in 12 months or so, is I can become a specialist, and then I'm running the meetings for the paid team with the clients and having the coordinators underneath of me, whether senior or not, help me gather the analytics that I need so that I can run their account.
I would say interesting, but it sounds
Yeah,
super
no,
boring
yeah,
to me. I feel like
yeah.
if I did a like a like because I part of my job is just building relationships with families and stuff like that. Like I could speak to somebody, you teach me the professional language that you guys use in the field. If I did a bunch of research on like marketing or whatever, I could probably get paid to do it. Maybe not at the senior level yet, but I could probably do something if I spent some time on it. But like that just sounds super boring to me.
It can be super mundane. Like the last couple days, I've been working on call tracking for my one of the specialists. So I've just literally been so like anytime you make a call and it goes, this may be recorded for quality assurance.
Hmm.
They've literally been recording you since the second you hit make the call. Before it even rings, they're already like they're locked in on you. So I've been listening to those to be like, because there's certain, like in the search ads, there's the phone number. That phone number gets tracked and switched over to the company's line so that um so that there can be the recording. And so what I'm doing is listening to see if that is either a current customer who's calling for their own needs as a already client, or if it is a prospective client that's reaching out for services and making sure that it's a lead or not.
Fun.
That part has been mundane, but it is part of the job. It does get a lot more exciting as you get into the portion where you get to speak with the clients. Because like my first week, dude, I was in a meeting, like I was in like three meetings a day, and I know those guys are probably running a little bit more than that, especially when it comes time to end of the quarter and you're on reporting duty. So you're doing a lot more.
Next time on things that won't make it in YouTube.
Probably not. Probably not. Man, the college, not college, the World Baseball Classic, the WBC
Goodness.
college. It's
Not College World Series.
I know it's super close. But the baseball classic. Have you did you watch any of that?
I'm only catching clips on Twitter. I don't.
I'm not a baseball guy, but I thought it was. Everybody's talking about it. It's super interesting. The Otani versus Mike Trout. And man, how amazing would that be to watch those two dudes on the same team? Like if baseball was exciting, if
Yeah,
like
but the
MLB
Angels are
was as
trash,
exciting,
dude.
if only they were on
They
the same
have
team.
like the two best players in the league. Like, I mean, or at least top five. People are going to put those two on a
Easily the two
list. You
best
talk to
players.
players in the league, they're going to put those two on a list. Like what Otani's doing is, he's reversing the game of baseball. You haven't seen this done since like Babe Ruth and shit like
And
that.
he's better than Babe
But
Ruth.
I mean, 1,000 times more athletic and better than Babe Ruth, absolutely. But the Angels just don't know how to put it together because they have two standout players, and then the team falls to shit every year. It's bad. If you
That's
followed
baseball.
baseball at all, like the Angels are trash, and so you're only paying to see those two when you get an Angels ticket.
And you're only getting to see Otani a couple times a week. Like obviously more than other pitchers because he's able to hit. So he's going to be out there hitting more often, especially when they go up against the AL teams at the AL stadium where you can have a DH.
Yeah.
But it just, man, but that's baseball's problem, man. Baseball, it's too many games. They've done a really good job of being able to speed it up, and I think that may help translate into the regular
Well,
season.
there's a lot of new
This
rules this season. That's
the
they
pitch clock
it
is
gets kind
the
of
big
gradual every year, but
um the
it's
big
it's
one is
better
going to
for
come.
the layman's fans. There's a lot of like old grumpy ass men out there that are like, you let the game be played, blah blah blah.
The same things to be said with basketball too, and I mean there's even people are in our age bracket that are like, no, let them play the 82 games or whatever it is. It's like, no, they're baseball and basketball have these same issues. There's too many games, the season takes too long, your
And a bunch of
superstars
injuries.
are not playing. Some honestly,
Just
a lot
the
of
the
times
the,
it's not
the,
even
the
injuries when you look at baseball because these guys aren't injured. They're just taking a rest so that they can make it to the playoffs. Like if that's going to be the case, then you cut down the games so that you can see the superstars actually play so that these games actually mean something. Neither one of these leagues are going to start seeing an uptick in regular season viewership on major TV broadcast stations until they start limiting the amount of games that actually get played. And that it sucks because that there's a ton of revenue there, especially when you're talking about ticket sales. But if you want to make more money in broadcasting, which you certainly can do, the NFL has shown that you can make more money from the broadcasting networks year in and year out. You got to start making the games more meaningful.
I mean, it's the modern day. I mean, the old way is, we want to go through these grueling tests and overcome and endure and just grind it out the old fashioned way. But the modern era, these players are more athletic. They're playing in a game playing the game in a more dynamic level. Like crazier things are happening nowadays, and when you're playing at a level like that, Bo Jackson's a prime example. Create like crazy injuries can happen, and players, are at risk more than they ever were, and so you gotta evolve with the way the players are evolving. And I think shortening the season is a fantastic, like the main way to combat that. And the NBA's had a couple of ideas about like a midseason
MLB's talked
tournament,
about that too. Yep.
so you know find some things to flare it up, make the regular season more entertaining, but shorten the amount of games that these players are playing, and you're going to get the best of the best.
It's going to make one of the things they've been talking about on the radio on 610. Fesco was in the morning was talking about it. If you don't know, it's a local Kansas City station. But somebody had texted into their line this morning, actually, was like, can we not, like, people just hate sports nowadays, can we not just sit there and enjoy? And I like the sentiment where it's, yeah, we probably need to slow down and enjoy it. But the other side of the coin is America, and it's not it. We're gonna call it ADHD. It's not, but like, people these days
Hmm.
can't concentrate on things, right? It's We've got to be fast paced. And even in the NFL, the one thing that you hear a lot of complaints about, which it doesn't show in TV viewership, but it's too many commercials that slow down the game. It's the same thing when you look at the NBA and the MLB, where you've got TV timeouts left and right. The games take too long. It's not that we can't sit there and enjoy it. It's that there's now more than ever a continuing slowing down of the game, not for the game's sake, but for ad revenue, for ads to be thrown into your face. I think there is one sport across the entire world, whether you hate it or you actually like the sport, they've perfected the way that you can continue to make ads and yet not have even one stoppage in play
You're
for a
about to say
commercial.
soccer.
It's soccer.
Yeah.
Like I said, it doesn't matter if you like the sport or not. You have to sit down and you say, okay, what how can you do this? There's sponsors on the jerseys. The NBA is trying that, but you're still doing the TV timeouts every 10 minutes at most. It's probably every 5. College basketball does the same thing. You've got sponsors on the jerseys, you've got sponsors on the running boards. They play ads in the corners, right? They have their live announcers talk about an ad, much like they do in the UFC. It's kind of the same thing. Look at combat sports. There are so many things to do that you can continue to have better viewership, keep the games going at a faster pace, keep people's attention, and still throw ads in their face. If soccer can figure it out and it doesn't do great in America, although the MLS moving to Apple only is probably going to outview the MLB and the NBA this year, those two sports can figure it out. And there's another one, hockey. They've got two intermissions, half times, 15 minutes apiece. There's not a lot of people complaining about hockey as much as you see in the NBA and the MLB, but that is another sport where there's still like, you're going to lose somebody after the first period. You're going to lose a quarter of your viewership after the first period because 15 minutes. I'll find something else to take my mind elsewhere.